Alright YouTube, so welcome to episode 10 of the Q&A series here on the channel. The something series, we just kind of wing it. It used to be weekly, now it's like bi-weekly, and then this week I just happened to do two back-to-back. So like, every now and then it'll be weekly, every now and then it'll be bi-weekly, it might be tri-weekly, I don't even know what happens if that's even a phrase. Let's get into this shit. First up, we're going to hit the YouTube section like we did last video, because this time we got a lot of questions again, and this is kind of what I wanted when I first started the Q&A series, was to have a steady flow of questions, and I don't have to actually post out on social media asking for people to give me questions, because they're just already there from the last video. Anyways, let's get into it. Proximity Legend wants to know, if you drop soap on a dirty ground, does the ground become clean, or does the soap become dirty? This is philosophical as fuck. My answer would be it depends on the situation. Is the floor wet? Is the soap wet? Because if it's just a dry bar soap, dropping it on a dirty, dry ground, then obviously the soap's just going to become dirty. But if there's water, obviously it's going to do the suds and shit like you do in your showers, and it'd probably clean the area at least around the soap. That's my guess. Metal Gear Ray says, awesome video, dude. Got a question. What game do you regret buying that turned out to be nothing but a disappointment, making you wish you'd want your $60 back? I'm going to be honest, man. I don't really buy games that I'm not going to like. Like, I'm not somebody who just buys games all the time. Like, I know a lot of people that just buy whatever the newest game is. And I'm not the kind of person that does that. I don't like to waste money. So if I'm going to buy a game, I do the proper kind of research, I guess, and look in to see what the game is going to be. I have bought some games recently on a whim, like Mafia 3. I didn't know a whole lot about it, but I knew it's an open world GTA-esque game. So I was like, hey, I'm probably going to enjoy it because I like open world games. And Final Fantasy 15, I didn't do a whole lot of research with leading up to the release. I only started really researching it maybe a month or two before release. Like, I knew the game was coming out, but like, you know, I'd played the recent Final Fantasies and I didn't care for them, so I was like, whatever. And then I started seeing shit about it, and I learned how big and how up to scale the game was going to be and how large some enemies were, and I was like, well, I'm going to get this shit. And I ended up enjoying it. Trouble Dead says, 2 questions. Would you rather Bethesda or Obsidian make the next Fallout? If you say Bethesda, then I'm unsubscribed and report your channel. Nah, I'm just kidding. Love you, babe. What? What is happening? No homo, by the way. And PC Master Race or Filthy Console Peasant? To answer the first question, I'd have to say that I want Obsidian to make the next Fallout. And that's not because I didn't like Fallout 4, like it's a dead meme to hate on Fallout 4. I would actually like to see Obsidian, you know, get the proper time to fully make the game, because again, New Vegas, they didn't have the proper window of time to make a full game, and it's still considered like the best Fallout ever. So I'd like to see what they could do with, you know, 2 to 3 years of making a game. And on top of that, I'd like to see what they could actually do with another Fallout game and see if New Vegas was just a fluke. Maybe they just happened to make the best one on accident or something. I'd like to see what they could do again, I guess. And to answer the second question, man, I'm a filthy console peasant. I probably will be until the end of my life. Like, it's just simpler to buy the new console and buy the new games. I guess there's certain exclusives for PC that I won't get to play, but I'm not heartbroken about that shit. And there's certain exclusives for other like, you know, the PS4 that I can't get to play. And that sucks and all, but I get to play most of the AAA titles are on all platforms, so I'm fine with it. Doc asks, for you personally, what are the advantages and disadvantages of making a facecam video or a game footage video? As a viewer, I like the facecam videos better, but that's just me, and that's as a viewer. Now, this is actually a good question. I do think I've touched on this in the past. I think I made a video about this, if I'm not mistaken, when I first started doing like a bunch of facecam videos back to back. The advantages and disadvantages. The advantages of making a facecam video, for one, the Elgato, like, video game footage, that shit takes a long time to upload. That, I don't know what it is. I guess maybe because it's like, you know, 1080 quality or whatever the problem is. It takes forever to upload gameplay footage to YouTube. Whereas if I do like a facecam video with just a little camera or webcam or something, that shit uploads really quick. I can make a 10-minute video and it'll upload in less than an hour, probably like 30 minutes. So it's a lot easier that way. The disadvantages of a facecam video is that I have to I'm very self-conscious, which is kind of weird to say, I guess. I've never really talked about that on video. I'm kind of a self-conscious person, so, like, I want to try to look good. So, like, if I got to do a facecam video, then I'm going to have to, like, you know, put on a decent shirt, you know, make sure my face and hair is looking good, and, you know, no pimples or nothing. Put on a hat or whatever, fix my hair, whatever the case. And that's a lot of effort when I can just, you know, capture, like, 10 minutes of gameplay and just do a video. Like, it's a lot easier that way. Also, if you guys have seen my facecam videos, I have a shitty camera, so, like, that's another thing, too. It's like, those are easier to make, and they upload a lot quicker, but at the same time, it's like shitty, terrible quality. Bloodborne Survivor wants to know what my favorite meme of all time is. And this is kind of a weird question, I guess. Like, I don't really know. It's not something I've ever really thought about. The first one that I could think of that I actually still enjoy to this day is probably the Confused Nick Young meme. Nuclear Winter asks, if I was in For Honor, which faction would I be in? Now, going off of just their looks and not knowing a whole lot about the game, it would definitely be the knights. When it comes to any kind of old school RPG type of game, I'm always a shield and sword kind of guy. That's just the kind of weapons I like. I like be able to block if I need to block and attack if I need to attack. That's just my kind of thing. If you ever see me play Skyrim or in my live streams with Skyrim and shit, that's kind of what I go to. I use a little bit of magic and shit too in those games. That's a totally different subject, but I'm a shield and sword kind of guy. Now, I do know that Game Theorist made a video comparing on which one was actually the best one, and his answer was that it was Samurais, mostly because of money, I guess. It's kind of weird. I've seen a lot of videos disproving a lot of the science and facts that he uses in this video, so as for which one's actually the best, I'm not actually sure. Thomas' question starts out with the fact that people are always asking for face reveals and shit when I've clearly done face reveal video, not even a face reveal video, just done webcam videos, and the fact that my social media, of course, has pictures of me, but he goes on to ask, what is my favorite food? I actually have two answers for this. My go-to answer is always crab rangoon. I love Chinese food. It's like my favorite type of food to eat. I love Chinese buffets specifically because then I can eat all that I want. But my go-to food every time I go to a Chinese buffet is to look out for the crab rangoon. I try it. It's always a little different at every restaurant, which is something I really, really like. But my other answer, which I've never actually given before, is macaroni and cheese pizza. Now, this is something I don't think a lot of people have tried. The only place I know of that you can even get it is CiCi's Pizza. I don't even know if that's in every single state or even in other countries, but CiCi's Pizza is the one place I know of where I can get macaroni and cheese pizza. It might sound weird to some people, but you don't know unless you've tried it. It's amazing. Static Reloaded says, hey man, first of all, great content. Keep it up. I appreciate that, my dude. Secondly, have you ever thought about doing a podcast and having either fans, Fallout fans, or YouTubers on? We actually kind of touched on this in last week's Q&A because I was actually asked a question about doing collabs or something with a YouTuber, so it's kind of in the same realm. I'm not against it, man. The thing is, I wouldn't want to do my own podcast because that's a little too much. It's already hard enough to try to do videos every single day. On top of that, try to have a consistent upload of a podcast, which podcasts tend to be kind of long, and I got to get people who want to be on the podcast. I'm sure there's people who wouldn't mind doing videos with me, but it's just I wouldn't want to be the host or whatever you want to call that. But in the same kind of category, I remember when the channel was growing, people wanted me to be on Mr. Matty Plays podcast. If you guys don't know, he does a weekly podcast every Sunday. Here's my thing, though. I'm not going to be the kind of person that goes out begging and asking to be featured on somebody's content. I don't care about it that much. And on top of that, everything we've done up to this point has been me. I understand the channel is not huge by any means, but everything that we've done with the channel so far, almost 2 years going, we've gained 2,000 subscribers in less than 2 years, actually. I've done that all by myself, and I don't want to be the kind of, I guess I'm prideful or something. Because being on the podcast is almost guaranteed subs, and as much as I want the channel to be big and grow and stuff like that, I kind of don't want to do it off the back of somebody else. Ketosis with Joey wants to know, would I prefer a Fallout 5 or a Grand Theft Auto 6? Now, this is actually a pretty loaded question because these are probably my two favorite series in the entirety of gaming. I actually have addressed GTA a lot in my GTA 6 wishlist video. I've been playing Grand Theft Auto since it was on PlayStation 1, so I've been playing it almost 20 fucking years, man. I was playing that when I was very, very young, anywhere from 6 to 10, I don't know. Anyways, I was playing it for a very, very long time, so it's hard for me not to pick that, but then again, over the course of, the past almost 10 years, I've really grown onto the Fallout series. I started with Fallout 3 and then all the way up till now, so, it's kind of a tough one. If we're comparing the last two games in each of the series, well, it's hard to bet against a new Grand Theft Auto. Fallout 4, while I did, again, earlier in this video, I pointed out that it's not that bad of a game. At the same time, it wasn't as good as it could have been, whereas Grand Theft Auto is literally getting better with every single game. So, I don't know. For me, I'd probably have to go with GTA 6. Expert Nano wants to know what are my thoughts on Obsidian wanting to do another Fallout. Now, see, this to me it's a good thing, of course, if they want to do another Fallout, but it doesn't really carry any weight because, of course, they want to do another Fallout. I think any game developer out there, if given the chance, would like to get their hands on the franchise and make their own game, take their own spin on the Fallout franchise or whatever, have their own views and everything, how they would make the game. So, it's cool, but I don't think it has any weight to it. Crummy Earth Gaming wants to know what game am I most hyped for this year, and as of right now, it's got to be Red Dead Redemption 2. We know it's coming out sometime in the fall of this year, which I'm super excited for that because I've been wanting, we've been wanting a new Red Dead for a long, long time, and it's finally going to happen this year. Now, that being said, there's always the chance that we're going to get another Fallout or another Elder Scrolls this year. There's always the chance that they're going to drop, some trailer or something at E3 or sometime before or after then, and then be like, hey, it's also coming out this year. I mean, that's what they did with Fallout 4, right? We knew we were getting a trailer, there was a countdown and all that shit. Then they dropped the actual gameplay trailer and all that stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, also it's coming out a few months from now. Like, that could always happen again. Don't expect it to happen, but it could always happen. Jared asks, would you do a collab with Scarce, not because you apparently are him, but just to set the record straight that you aren't him? I did mention earlier that I didn't want to, get the channel growth off of somebody else's, channel and somebody else's popularity, but Scarce is a very big and popular channel, so I would definitely do a collab with him on anything, ever. It doesn't matter. Blake Hill wants to know how I can get a question in the Q&A video, but he also asks, who do you think is the most difficult enemy in Fallout 4, and which do you have the most difficulty with? Fudge Muppet actually has a video about this, and it's actually a very interesting watch if you care to check it out. But to jump to the conclusion of the video, the strongest enemy in the game is the Enraged Fog Crawler from the Far Harbor DLC. He has 4,000 physical defense or some retarded amount that is unheard of in the Fallout series. It's pretty fucking crazy. I've actually never fought one, but for me, the hardest enemy that I've ever come across was the albino, crab in the truck thing. That thing was ridiculous. Now, it's not necessarily a strong enemy, it just has a lot of defense and health. It has 300 in both defenses, and it's got almost 4,000 health. Maybe just the weapons I had on me at the time, but it took me forever to finally kill the damn thing. There's actually a video on the channel, you just gotta search on my channel, strongest enemy in the game or something like that, because at the time, that's what I thought it was the strongest enemy. Ben Rock says, for the next Q&A, put my fucking questions in the next video, faggot. And then he replies with, will you be my baby daddy? On a sort of serious note, I guess, we're not really serious here on the channel, but demanding questions to be put on the video will never work, other than this one time for context. And in the use of the word faggot, what year is this? Are you trying to offend somebody? I don't even know if that's I guess it's too edgy for me to understand. I didn't know, I didn't know people were still trying to use this word in an offensive way, but whatever. And to end the YouTube questions, Captain Brunts replied to my last Q&A video with Fallout 4, more content, better world, rip all credibility. Okay, first of all, you can't convince me that Fallout 4 isn't a better world than New Vegas. That's 100% fact. There is way more to do in Fallout 4 than there is in Fallout 3 or New Vegas. And me saying that the world is better and offers more things and more content, that doesn't mean that it's a better game than Fallout New Vegas, so chill your teen angst there, buddy. But this guy went through and had a long conversation with somebody. He added 20 or 30 comments, him and the other guy back and forth on that video. They had a lot of comments, but he went through and hated on other videos of mine. He's probably 12 or something like that. But Fallout 4 is a better world than New Vegas and 3. That's just a fact. It's a current gen console game, whereas those are older console games. They couldn't even have the world that Fallout 4 has. Now that doesn't mean it's a better game, but I mean, come on. And that's actually it for the questions we're going to do today, because actually I went and just looked at my Instagram and there wasn't any questions under the picture I did for the last Q&A video. Usually there are, and there wasn't this time. And I didn't put any post out asking for questions. There's plenty on this video. This Q&A ended up being longer than most of our recent Q&As. I think most of them have been under 10 minutes. This one's pushing over 13 and probably 14 by the end of all of it. So if you guys want to be featured in the next Q&A video, all you got to do, as always, is leave a question down below. It's really just that easy, or hit me up on Instagram or something like that. Either way, you can get your question featured in the next Q&A video. If you want to enjoy the video, guys, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Follow me on Twitter. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake, 'cause I don't fucking care.